Bitcoin at an all-time low. Highschooler recounts his first time in jail. And crazy camp stories, all on the Daily Bro Show, Season 2. Bitcoin, everyone's favorite cryptocurrency, now at a rapid decline since its peak back in December of 2017, reaching an ultimate value of $19,783.21. The exponential rise in Bitcoin value has been attributed to the mass media representation causing a Bitcoin hype. Regular people saw the mass profits of Bitcoin and in fear of missing out, invested as well. This created an unusually high demand for Bitcoin, skyrocketing the price. However, as the interest in Bitcoin slowed down, the price slowed down as well. Now Bitcoin is currently sitting at around $3,600, down 82% just over the last year. We brought in our expert to tell us why. Welcome, Nathaniel.
So, first of all, I'm going to confess I'm no expert. I don't follow it as actively as I should, but there are some things that you could note. So over the past year, I suppose, we've had an 83% recession in Bitcoin value, which is a good time, I suppose, for some of us who aren't as enabled to invest. Interestingly, if you live in the state of Wyoming, there's a new bill coming out that would legalize it as a currency in itself. But this gets down to the debate of what was Bitcoin originally designed to be as. And most sources would argue that Bitcoin was supposed to just be a means for storing money, but it being a company, people invested and its value has skyrocketed since. But now, as I mentioned before, it's starting to decline in value. And once again, we're seeing this resurgence in other cryptocurrencies. Japan has adopted its own, and it's legalized it to operate on its own tender basis. Another currency you could take a look at is Ripple. Ripple is arguably a lot more stable than Bitcoin at this moment, and it's very popular. It seems like it's going to be a good method for storing money. I would say on a more mockable aspect, looking out for Bitcoin within your own electricity grid is not the wisest idea. Bitcoin, I'm sure you all know, involves the use of mining with the use of computer algorithms. It takes so much time to be able to process one and solve the algorithm and earn the Bitcoin. So I would highly recommend holding off or not going into Bitcoin production yourself. The power consumption probably consumes more than you're going to make. It's stated that from Gabe's research that it takes about 98 years to mine a single Bitcoin, even with a large group, so I would consider that.
So, Nathaniel, what do you attribute to the decline in Bitcoin to?
I could say if you were to take a look at it historically, like during the 1930s, a lot of people were overinvesting, and I would say this is what's happened with Bitcoin. A lot of people have overinvested, and like any normal market, things fluctuate. Perhaps Bitcoin's is a little more severe than others.
So the top experts in America predicted Bitcoin to easily reach $40,000 by the end of 2018. What happened?
A lot of experts are turned over in their logic by events that we can't really attribute to anything. This is a question that a lot of people can't answer, and unfortunately, I am among them.
Thank you, Nathaniel, for joining us on the show. Well, you heard it from our expert ourselves. It seems that experts are optimistic about the return of Bitcoin. They are just uncertain when. Until next time, we will be keeping tabs on the Bitcoin market and report to you next week on The Bro Show. Now to our next story.
I was about to head to my last period of the day, which is my 7th hour. And as I was heading to my class, I had a group of 4 freshmen behind me. And as they came up behind me, one of them pushed his friend into me, and he spilled his water all over my bag and backpack and back. It just got everywhere. And so I turned around, and his friends bolted in the other direction, and I grabbed the kid who spilled it, and I kind of grabbed his arm and threw him into a locker, and I broke his arm. So I got to go into jail for 10, 12 hours, and I'm going to tell you, it was pretty bad. So the next thing that happens is basically I get scolded at by a teacher for bullying freshmen. I told the teacher what happened, and she's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, I didn't even do much to the kid. And so he, freaking out, I guess, in pain, because I could see him walking away. He was all scared and whatnot. I guess he was in pain. I didn't know at the time. I guess he went to the nurse's office or something and said something, or the principal's office. I was at the school, and basically when I got there, I was taken into the principal's office. She told me blah, 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 and whatnot, what I did. And they put the handcuffs on me, and we went down to the station, and at the station, they have a jail. I go through the front entrance, and there's an elevator, and we go down to the very last floor, which is basically at the bottom. When I get down there, we go over to the cell. Whenever I come up on the hallway that I was put into, all I could hear was people chanting.
Chanting?
Because chanting.
What were they chanting?
Screaming and yelling and everything. It was creepy, to be honest.
That would be creepy. You just hear people screaming and yelling.
Yeah. And the guy tells me, "This is where you'll be till the bell's paying. And we've already contacted your parents, and whenever it happens, we'll let you know, blah, blah, blah. You'll be fed every day, as long as you're here, 3 meals. There won't be a whole lot of food, though." And as I was put in, he took the cuffs off of me. And he knew I wasn't going to try to sprint, because there's no reason to. You're underground.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere unless you go up the elevator. And so he undid the handcuffs on me. He closes the gate, and they both walk away. And I first sit down, and chanting slowly starts to dissipate, and people starting to get quiet again. So it just goes back to being a normal, quiet area, except for the chains rattling or people walking around talking to other people inside the cells, or guards talking to each other. And it was just, it's so boring. It's almost scary too, because when you think about it out on the outside of the box view, literally you look and you see bars in front of you. The freaking feeling of it is weird. I just didn't like the food. That stuff is disgusting. It's literally it was like slop thrown on a plate. It was bad. It tasted like tomatoes that were burnt with meat inside of them, like pulled pork. It was just, the texture was gross. The bed was so small, my legs were sticking off of it. I am a Jehovah's Witness, and so that hurts my reputation a little bit too. All you can really be is disappointed that a person like me would do that, but I snapped, dude, because the feeling of getting cold water spilled all over your stuff, all over your back, you just want to do something to feel better. First thing that came to mind, throw them against the wall.
I guess you can check that off your bucket list now.
Yeah.
How do you wash your hands?
You don't.
Oh, that sounds a little weird, actually. What about
you wait till your shower time, basically.
But you didn't have to take a shower there.
I didn't have.
I bet you it would have been a shower room.
Probably.
You would have got raped. That would have been sad. That would have been a whole different story.
Oh my god. Freaking new 16-year-old in the joint. Hey, come over here.
Yeah, that just sounds like a rape story waiting to happen. Oh.
Literally. I didn't think of that either. Oh god.
We wouldn't be talking right now if shower time happened.
No. This story would not have left my mouth.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning into our weekly bro share stories, and a huge shout out to Duke for sharing this with us. If you would like to share a story with us for our next bro show, please message me or comment down below. We would love to hear from you. Find ways to support our show in the description. Until next time, have a good rest of your week. And now for the joke of the week, presented by one of America's Boy Scouts.
So I had this joke at Boy Scout Leader Camp, NYLT, National Youth Leader Training. I was elected to go there from the Scoutmasters of the troop for being so responsible and having such a high rank in the troop. It's a week-long course where you cook your own food, camp in tents all week. The last day, there's this like outpost camp out where you hike in the woods using only a GPS in your gear, and you camp out the night. And this just so happened that night it was pouring, raining out, so you can imagine how that went. But so there's this one kid there who he was a jerk, but he did tell this funny joke, which I'm gonna be telling you guys tonight. There's this employee at a supermarket, and his first customer comes in. The customer comes in, gets the milk, and asks, "How much is this milk?" The employee goes, I don't know. And then the customer walks out. The manager comes in and says to the employee, "Hey, if someone asks you how much this milk is, say 25 cents. He walks away. The second employee customer comes in, and he asks, "How fresh is this milk?" And the employee replies, I don't know. And then the customer walks away. The manager comes back and says, "If someone asks how fresh is this milk, say very fresh." He walks away. The third customer comes in and asks, "Why should I buy this milk?" The employee goes, I don't know. The customer walks away. Then the manager comes back and he says, "If someone asks, why should I buy this milk? Say, if you don't, someone else will." And then a robber comes in and asks, "How much money is in the register?" Employee says 25 cents. The robber says, "Are you being fresh with me?" The employee says, "Yes, very fresh." And then the robber replies, says, "Should I shoot you?" And then the employee says, "If you won't, no, someone else will."
R.I.P. comrade. That is all I have to say about this joke. Now to our crazy camp stories. Anyways, so while we're on the topic of camping stories, and we're also talking about fighting, I'll talk about one of them. Anyway, so I went to this camp, right? I went there with my brother, and I went there with a friend of mine as well. I absolutely hated camps. I was going in there thinking that this is just going to be hell, and I was not wrong. I mean, I did have some good moments there, but let's just go ahead and explain like what this place was like. This place was called Hidden Meadows, okay? Literally, this place is called Hidden Meadows.
That's us. You're recording, right?
Oh yeah, I'm recording.
Okay, good. That's totally not a suspicious name at all.
They really lived up to the name when they said Hidden Meadows. This place is literally off the grid. But the funny part is it's literally hidden. Like, you cannot find this camp for the life of you. So we're in the shower room, right? Because we're all dirty and stuff, and everyone's forcing us to take showers, which I don't feel like we're going to make us any cleaner. So anyways, we go to the showers, right? Me and my brothers are wrestlers, right? So we're used to like shower rooms, like where everyone's just in there just doing their thing and no one gives a crap. So we go in the same stall together, right? Because I mean, we're freaking brothers, all right? It doesn't matter, right? But
That's
hey,
that's
obviously you guys have never been in a shower room. I mean, if you've been in a shower room,
I had to clean them.
you just gotta be chill with it. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's literally just guys taking a shower.
Totally. Got old men swing their dicks around. It's not wrong.
Anyways, we're wearing bathing suits because we had this funny feeling that this psychopath kid was gonna show up in there and pull the curtain over and start laughing at us or something. So anyways, he does it, right? And he sees both of us in there just showering with our freaking bathing suits on. He's like, "What?"
And he screams gay.
Yeah, he was calling us gay. So literally, my brother charged at him and freaking pinned him against the wall or something. I was like, "What the frick?" And then next thing you know, we're like in a fight with this kid, and the kid runs off, and
That's fucking hilarious.
Kid freaking
absolutely.
he had like 4 buddies with him, and they run off after we like literally freaking bayonet charge them almost. They run off, and we never talked to them again.
How long was this camp for?
It was like, I don't even know how long I was there. I was there for a while. Not that long actually. Maybe it was 7 days. It was if it was 7 days, it was a long 7 days. We went rock climbing, like literal rock climbing. It was the first time I've ever gone rock climbing, and it was funny because when I was signing up for it, I didn't know what I was getting into. Right, I thought it was just wall climbing. You know, you go to the gym or something and you climb on.
No.
This was literal rock climbing. So we're hiking up this. So
that sounds fun.
Yeah, it was. So we get in this car with like 5 other people or something, like 4 or 5 other people, and we're all of a sudden leaving the camp. And I was like, holy shoot, I'm actually leaving the camp. Like, this is amazing. And then we start driving, and like hours go by, and I'm like, where the hell are we going? This is definitely not wall climbing. I'm like, am I in the right spot? And they're like, oh yeah. And then all of a sudden you see this just sheer cliffs, and I'm like, and the dude's like, we're gonna be there again. And I'm like, holy shoot, like is the gym up there? Like, I don't see a gym up there or something. And I was
You're
kind of
like, what the?
I was pretty scared.
Is this?
And next thing you know, we're like hiking up the mountain, right? And I'm like, oh, maybe we're just going hiking. Maybe that's what they meant by it. And then we get to the end of the hike, and we're several miles up, and there's this edge of a cliff, and there's maybe enough room for like a foot on there. And next thing he's like, all right, guys, put your gear on and start sliding across this like sheer cliff, and just don't look down. And you're literally like hugging the wall, like T-posing, just like get there. And then they throw the rope down and they tie it to you. And oh my gosh,
Funny.
there's a sign
That's
there. Before you enter, there's a sign. It's like this is how many people have died here. Like, be careful. Like, oh my gosh.
That is funny.
And so I'm like pissing my pants, right? I'm like praying and everything. I'm like, holy shoot, like this is too soon. And they tie the rope on me, and I'm looking at what the rope's tied to, and it's literally just some like rock up there. They just tied it to a rock, and there's a dude up there waving at it. I was like, all right, guys, start climbing. And I'm like, oh frick. So I start climbing the wall, and I get to a point where I was an okay climber. Like, I've climbed things before, but I've never like legit done it for the first, like, this was like the first time for me.
You look down and you instantly regret your life decisions.
I mean, like, it was just like, it was like a rope. It wasn't like a slack line, you know? Like, if you fell, like, you were falling, like, and you hit the rope and slam into the rock, and
They didn't have anyone on the bottom. What is it?
the bottom was
It's
just
not
trees.
They
like,
didn't have a second guy like holding down from the bottom of the cliff or the top of the cliff.
no, like, they had a person down there to watch us, but it was like a cliff. Like, imagine like maybe,
I know what you do, but normally they would have a harness that you would attach to two people so that if you did fall, you would drop for a certain amount of time.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, we didn't have that. What we had was a dude at the top of the rock, and he would pull the rope.
You're trying not to die.
Yeah, this is all survival mode, because I knew if I fell, it was gonna be pretty painful, because it wasn't like, this was like literally a rope just tied to me.
I mean, no shoot, it's gonna be pretty painful. You'll probably be lucky if you make it out alive.
So I get to this point, right, where I'm like, frick, I don't know if I can get above this, because a piece of the rock kind of comes out, and I'm
I know what you're talking about.
and I'm hanging onto the rock, right, and I'm like, frick, I'm short, right, I can't just, and I'm not too flexible with my legs, like, maybe my arms and back is flexible, but my legs, I can't like split or anything, so I can't like just put my leg up there, right, like what like a rock climber would do. So what I do is I'm like, frick, and I yell up to the dude, he's like, dude, I can't do this. And he was like, bro, just get your ass up here. And I was like, okay. So, so I freaking like make a Hail Mary jump, and I just freaking jump and like hold on like with my like torso, like just hang on and just pull myself up. I'm like, holy shoot, man, that was scary. Like, I literally freaking jumped on that freaking rock, and I was like, dang, bro.
You pissed your pants?
Maybe a little bit. I was pretty scared, and I was in the moment, so everything was going by pretty fast. And then I'm climbing up to the top, right? And I eventually make it to the top. That was the hardest part there, like just jumping over that thing.
And then you have to rappel down.
Yeah. I thought I'd be done. Like, I'm like, this dude obviously walked up the mountain. There's no way he solo climbed this, which he probably.
You never know.
Yeah, he probably solo climbed this. This dude was a veteran.
You never know.
But anyway,
I mean,
yeah. Anyways, I thought if I made it to the top, like at that part where I was like deciding whether it's worth continuing, like, because I had to like literally jump up on this rock. I looked down and I'm like, is it easier to go down or just up? And I'm like, just go up. So I'm going up.
It's always easier to go down because rappelling, you just have to jump off.
Yeah, well, obviously I didn't know that. This was my first time. So I go up to the top, right? And I'm like, all right, bro, unhook me. Let's get down this mountain. He's like, alrighty, I want you to lean backwards off the side of the cliff. We'll have a rope tied to you, so you should be okay. And whatever you do, don't touch the rope. And I'm like, don't touch the rope. What if it snaps? Or what if it falls? Bro, he's literally holding on to the rope to give me slack. I mean, what if he burns himself and he just lets go? Like, I'm a dead man. So,
yeah.
So I'm literally like hanging out like this, and I'm just holding off to the side. And I'm not trusting this guy, right? So he wants me to use my hands to like stop me from like twisting or something and like spinning out of control on my way down as I jump literally backwards. I mean, the first time you do it, it's scary, but I'm sure the more you do it, it's not as bad. I mean, I might sound like a wuss for like maybe not like jumping backwards. I mean, I did do it. Like, I did do it, guys, which is what's important. It's just I was definitely scared. There was times where I didn't feel safe, and I'd kind of cling on the rope for a second instead of having my hands out like a pro, but it was my first time.
First time I got rock climbing, the guy who had to make sure we did it at a Boy Scout camp, So, they had like this wall where you just climb up like a normal place. It was 40 feet high. And
It was a wall
first
climbing
time,
or rock climbing?
it was a wall climb.
Okay.
I wish it was rock climbing. The first time, I'm pretty sure the kid holding me down, the kid down on the ground, is make sure I don't fall off. I'm pretty sure he can't reproduce now because the way the harness was strapped on, he
Freaking castrated him.
Yes. Yeah, because I'm pretty strong, but I have 200 pounds of fat that I have to pull up. Ain't gonna go well.
Oh,
So first time I take 15 minutes to get up.
wow.
He wanted to kill me. He was literally walking like a freaking cowboy for the rest of the trip because of how much his never regions were hurting.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And guess the funny part, we had to do that 2 more times. So second time I went up, it was alright. I actually did much better on the second time. But while I was rappelling down, I managed to have the wire in the wrong spot. The wire was supposed to be behind my back, but instead it got caught on in between my shoulder.
Huh.
Like in between my arm.
Yeah, that's not good.
So I had to quickly move it back so that the wire would be behind me before I got a rope burn. And I got a rope burn on my arm.
Dang.
And I had to do it one more time. The guidance counselor asked me, "Do you want to do it?" I said, "Yeah, I'm doing it." It took me an hour because of how much my arm was hurting. There were just moments where I was just sitting there like, I'm too tired. You'll literally see me elevated like 30 feet. It's like, I'm too tired. I'm not gonna move. I'm not gonna move in a while. And you just see the poor kid on the bottom's like, come on, please. I want to reproduce.
Okay. I don't know if you've ever done this before, but when you have a huge bonfire, like when you take those packing wood, those packing planks of wood that like you can stack up as like just garbage wood. When you take like those, stack them 8 high and light a bonfire, that's pretty big, right? Like you can feel the heat from like over 20 feet away. But when you take a cardboard box, I didn't know this was a thing until that camp. You take a cardboard box that goes up like 20 feet because they taped like a million of them together. Maybe even more than 20 feet. This thing was freaking huge. And you carry it over the bonfire. I don't know the science behind it, but when you have that like rectangle thing over the campfire or the bonfire, and it's like a chimney. It's basically like a chimney made of cardboard. And they put it over. It's like 20 feet high.
And the cardboard exploded?
It wasn't... Fire shoots out the top at first. And then boom. Huge freaking explosion. The freaking counselors near the thing freaking get like blown backwards from the heat. And the freaking eyebrows incinerate. And everyone just feels an intense wave of heat just hit them and they get burned. And I'm like... What the frick?
Yeah.
I'm like...
Those counselors are honestly complete idiots to allow something like that to... No,
it was insane. I loved it. It was insane.
I can't even be mad because I've done much worse.
Yeah, this was insane.
Like,
just huge freaking explosion. I loved it. I would 10 out of 10 would definitely do it again. Thank you for tuning into this week's Bro Show, and a huge shout out to Lee Bass for sharing his camping stories with us and listening to mine. Find ways to support the Bro Show in the description. If you have a story of your own you'd like to share or some information on a topic that you'd like us to discuss, please message me or comment down below. We'll see you right back here every Monday at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, have a good rest of your week.